Well, howdy do, y'all. I am here with the classic holiday beer from Sierra Nevada, the Sierra Nevada Celebration Wet Hop IPA. I'm using my Sierra Nevada glass. It's beautiful, is it not? I'm going to read just a touch from their bottle here. Bear with me. Let me grab the bottle here. We first brewed Celebration IPA in the winter of 1981. Each year we use only the finest fresh hops of the growing season to create this complex and robust ale. Layered pine and citrus hop aroma balanced delicately against the rich malt sweetness to shape this bold wintertime classic. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think this is a spiced ale or was a spiced ale at one time. It was never a spiced ale. It was always an IPA. It is, closer to a traditional IPA than what most think is an IPA these days. It is big and hearty and robust, what an IPA originally started out to be. The aromas are intense, huge pine, citrus. From their website, it's 6.8%, 65 IBUs. Now, I want you to think about those stats for a second. This was first brewed in 1981. Now, some may say 6.8, 65 is rather tame, and this beer is rather big and malty for an IPA. Yes, it is, by today's standards. But think about 1981. If you're old enough to know what beer was on your shelves back then, you'll know what a remarkable beer this is. Yeast is an ale yeast. They use Chinook and Centennial for bittering, Cascade and Centennial for finishing. The malts are two-row and pale. So again, by today's standard, it is a rather simple beer. But you know what? Sometimes simple is better. I think a lot of young brewers get carried away thinking every beer has to have 100 ingredients in it. And I've talked to a lot of brewers over the years, and most of them will tell me about the same thing, is before you can brew this crazy-ass 100-ingredient beer, you first have to understand the brewing process. You need to know how to make just a simple brown ale. You need to understand the difference between a dry stout and imperial stout. You need to know how to make just a solid classic lager. And, there you go. I don't want to get into a big ol' ass history lesson on you. But yeah, I think it's beers like this are lost on a lot of drinkers that don't understand exactly how far craft beer has gone. They know what's on their shelves now, and they don't realize that 20, 30 years ago, there wasn't these beers on the shelves. You had to start. In 1981, damn, 1981, think of how crazy ass this beer would have come across back then. I just think sometimes a lot of beer history is lost on folks these days when I talk to younger craft beer drinkers, especially. I don't think they get the history. And I'm not saying everybody has to sit down and read 100 books, but I think Michael Jackson ought to be a must-read for most younger drinkers. And again, I think a lot of folks don't understand style. I think you need to understand specific styles, and I talk to a lot of folks that just do not get it. This beer is great because it is a classic. This is a lesson in how you brew a perfect beer. That you don't need to add 100 different ingredients. You just need the right ingredients all put together at the right time, and everything works together. And that, an IPA doesn't have to be this golden light-bodied, hop juice beer. Not that I have anything against those. Don't get me wrong. But a beer like this is a classic American craft IPA, and that's why it's so brilliant. So again, my hat's off to Sierra Nevada, again, because I think this beer is incredible. And for those of you that don't get it or think it's too malty, brush up on your history, damn it. You folks are frustrating me. Yeah, understand what a beer like this was. Understand how far it's come since 1981. Understand how groundbreaking a beer like this was back in 81. And understand that there's nothing wrong with a nice solid malt backbone. That a beer can have a lot of flavor and not be one-dimensional, and that's what a beer like this does. So I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer, and that's my rant of the day.